Ooh. Good morning, all everyone that's waiting. I guess, a couple of minutes ahead here. I wanted to get a little Q&A in. I know this is the first time we've done one of these, so I'm just taking a quick look at some charts. If we are going to do a trade of the day kind of thing at the end of this, so I want to look at some stuff. If you guys have something that you have a burning desire to look at on a chart, then we can do that too. I like having fun. Oil seems to be pretty hot right now. I think probably one that a lot of people might want to check out. But I do want to make sure that the audio works, video works. If you guys give me a quick comment in the box here, let me get this window open so I can actually see if anybody's even here. Let's see. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon. Should be a fun one here today. We got a lot to cover. Perfect. I'm glad the video works, audio works. There's a little bit of a delay here from this side, from the technology side, so it's a it's not a real time thing. So I'm definitely here to answer questions. I want to talk about prop trading today, obviously, and I want to talk about the rules and really what I think rubs people wrong in some cases, and really why you should be thankful that this opportunity exists. I think this is probably some of the most fun trading that I've ever done. Historically, I've just been let's just say I've been a Forex guy. I bought equities, I traded options, but trading all sorts of different instruments, indices, and commodities, everything all in one spot is pretty rocking. But yeah, if anybody here earlier, are you guys new to prop trading? You guys new to trading? Tell me a little bit about your experience. I promise I'm going to do plenty of talking about me throughout the entire presentation. Hopefully not. There's going to be one slide about me. But I would love to know what people are looking for here. I want to make sure, before we get started at least, we still got 10 or 12 minutes. I'm still drinking my coffee. But I want to know what you guys really want to see. And hey, if it's a new tool, a strategy, I don't know what it is. I've been in trading education and helping build robots for better part of 10 years. So we can pretty much cover whatever ground you want. I want to answer questions. That's the whole reason why this exists today. And if you don't ask, then you don't get answers. Closed mouths don't get fed. But the charts are a lot of fun today. We could sneak in an early one here if we wanted to. It does look like we just got a breakout on oil above 76 here. That run to 79.80 could be coming. I think, let's just say I'm already long. 12 years in the Forex, 1 year futures, have a prop account somewhere else. That's cool. How's everything been going with that? 12 years is a long time. New to it all, have dough. Want to try Forex? Can I make money? Well, that depends on how much money you want to make and how much you want to trade with. The reason why I work in prop trading and why this business exists at all is because the average trader wants to make, well, let me ask you a question. How much money do you want to make before I just blurt a number out? Like, what is your monthly goal? What kind of income do you want? And, thinking about the capital that you have to invest with, is that something that, what percent do you need to get? Is it reasonable? That's really what this is all about. Money can be made anywhere. I mean, if it moves, it makes money. The cool part about Forex is it moves every day, and it's leveraged. And if you have a good understanding of Forex and you have a good understanding of the value of the dollar and the euro and the Swiss franc and how all this global interaction works out, and well, oil is actually, in my opinion, more money than any currency that's out there. Same thing goes for something like gold. So, really there's money in all of it. It's just a matter of, how much money do you want to make? How quickly do you need to make it? And, 50 to play with and see how it works. Well, so realistically speaking, if you want to make 5,000 a month, if you want to be responsible and you want to trade small, most risk management is going to call for something like, maximum of 1% risk across all of your trades. Okay. All of your trades at any given time. So for you to make something like $7,000, in a $100,000 account, that's aggressive. In a $200,000 account, a lot less aggressive. If you're trading your own capital, let's just say you're going to have to be extremely aggressive if you're trading under 10,000 or anything like that. So really the point is that the secret to good trading is not about winning every trade. It's about finding volatility and knowing where something is going to move, because if it moves, it makes money. And you don't want to have to win every trade. So the reason why prop exists is because the average person doesn't, well, if you're going to get into something and see if it works and if it makes money, then you probably don't want to test the waters with something like $25,000 or 100 or 200,000. But the thing is that you don't have to. Okay, so if you're willing to trade small with a 6-figure account, really all you have to do is take small risks and be able to find volatility. Okay, so there's a lot of education that can come into trading, but the reality of it is that I want to capture this area that's bigger than the one I'm willing to risk. And I'll show a chart here when we get done, but most of what I'm going to show you is going to be boxes and lines, and I've seen every indicator under the sun. You name it, I have seen a robot built to execute trades with it. And the reality of it is there's two kinds of trends. There's up, down, well, really trending, and sideways. Trending or sideways. That's it. Okay, so if you can find an area that you want to trade, and I'll show, more or less, I do this. Well, the plan is to do this every week, and I put out videos already that you can watch now to find opportunities. But the reality is there's plenty of opportunity to make money as long as you're responsible and you make, good decisions to get in the game when there's movement. Okay. And that's really the secret to the whole game, is just finding more movement than anybody else can, because you get to take more shots. It's creating more opportunity for yourself if you can find more movement. So I'll go through the economic calendar when we get done here today, and I'll show you how I find movement. Some of it's pretty easy to find sometimes, if you, lately there's been a lot of action in geopolitics. So you can pretty much assume that something like oil is going to move. It's been pretty sideways though. So that means there could be a nice little pop that we got to break out this morning. But yeah, there's a ton of opportunity to make money. It's just the reality of the world is people are typically too greedy with the amount of money they're willing to risk. So I've probably spoken to, traded with, whatever, educated. I've done a lot of these. There's videos from other places I've worked. There's videos for years you can go watch. But the point is, I'm not trying to flex here. I'm just trying to tell you guys, everybody has the same problem that I've seen. Everybody wants to make more money than they should with the amount they have. And the key to fixing that problem is discipline, and trading someone else's money is the easiest way. Anytime I've ever been told about starting a business, it's easier to do it with somebody else's money because I don't know if any of you have ever done that, but there's a lot less mental stress involved in something like that. And you kind of limit your losses. If you buy a challenge account for $1,000 to trade, I don't know what amount of money that is. It's like $100,000 account you could trade if you pass the challenge. So, the risk is limited to that small amount, not 100,000 or even the 3,000 or 10,000 you plan to risk. You don't have to ever have it on the table. So that's the reason why prop is popular. But we're going to be, I've got a lot to show here. I want to go through the rules and make sure people understand how the rules work, because I think the reason people get upset is because they don't understand the game. And, if you don't know the rules to the game, it's going to be pretty easy to lose. And it's a lot easier to win if you know all the rules. It's way easier to win if you know all the rules in any game that's ever been said. So I'm, not going to sit here and tell you that it's easy to win. Anybody can win. It's just a matter of discipline. And I think if you're sitting here watching me talk about trading and prop trading right now, you probably have enough interest to want to learn how this game works and, maybe give it a shot. I think, this would have been a dream opportunity for me many years ago, but this wasn't really a thing when I started. When I got into trading in 2014, it was, more or less how much money do you have to trade with? And, there was a really interesting time too. The Swiss franc unpegged from the euro that year, and FXCM got blown out for, I want to say $300 million in a night. That was like real early in my trading career. And I saw some people make an exorbitant amount of money off of that. And that had a really big effect on me. I'm not looking for volatility like that typically because you can't really predict stuff like that. That's why it's bigger volatility. Um, nice, Rick. Nice. Hope it's going well. Take it slow, brother. Take it slow. There's no reason to rush success, especially when you get a $100,000 account to trade with. If you do 2% a month, that's like 26, 27% a year. You're smashing the S&P 500 most years if you can do that consistently. So, like, the main thing that people get hung up on is, can I make money trading? Can I make money trading with the amount of money I have? That's really difficult for anybody to comprehend that, okay, I have 5,000. I need to make $1,000 back, the next 3 weeks is what people have told me in the past. So this is different. And I'm excited about prop. I got an account with, it was part of my new job, which was pretty interesting, to say the least. They're like, hey, you got to trade this. So, okay. It's definitely nice. I'm not going to complain. We're about ready to get this show on the road. We got a couple more minutes, but if you guys have something in particular that you want to see, yeah, very slow risk is everything. It's not about, what happens when you're right. Okay. It's about what happens when you're wrong and how high your floor is. And that's something that took me a long time to learn. I have a, what would be considered a very expensive trading education. And I didn't really listen to a lot of rules because I thought, I'm smarter than the market. I can win more often. I can be right all the time, and I can't. Okay. So I can be right a little more than half, somewhere between 5 and 7 out of 10 is usually where I run. The times that I'm 5 out of 10, I need to be ready for those. Okay. And sometimes that 5 out of 10 is an average of me being, okay, I won 30 in a row. I just lost 10, 15 in a row, whatever it is. Okay. So that happens. And you have to plan for that. And that's the beauty of having a lot more capital to trade with, because it gives you the opportunity to level in and average in at better prices. There's a lot of opportunity to do a lot more risk management stuff when you have more capital, because, I like to risk somewhere in like I don't know, this is a secret maybe, I don't know. I like to risk maybe somewhere around like a micro lot per $500 in the account. You might want to write that one down. Because risk is everything. And if you're looking at, opening a Forex account with $500, one micro lot at a time is going to be almost impossible for you to maintain from a mental standpoint of like, oh, okay, I can only open one trade and I might make $15 today. Exactly, Rick. Protect the capital at all costs. That's the number one name of the game. I'm fairly excited about the way things are going with this year so far. I can't believe that we had 4 days in a row of green, all-time highs on the stock market so far. Inside of January, I didn't really think that we were going to have this kind of bullish activity. I was expecting a bull trap, and it does seem like the liquidity is starting to rise up. The bank actually had to just increase the rates on BTFP. If you guys don't know what BTFP is, that program ends March 11th. So I think the banks are trying to get a little bit of a last hurrah and borrow as much money as they can, get as much liquidity as they can before that ends. Wow, look at oil ripping up to 76.15. But yeah, anyways, BTFP is coming to an end March 11th. The Fed announced that it was coming to an end, I want to say yesterday, the 24th. Yeah, that was yesterday. So, but we're here. We're at the time. We're ready to get started. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Those of you that are just showing up, I'm Will Bridges from your team at Trade House Funds. And we did a little bit of Q&A before we got started. I've got a lot to cover here, so I want to make sure that I get to the actual message that we wanted to talk about, the truth about prop trading. And, there's a lot of truths to prop trading. There's a lot of myths, I think, that are out there. And I want to talk about some of those because there's a lot of prop trading firms out there, and some of them I don't think can find the market with both hands. But, that is what it is. You guys are going to find out a little bit about how things work in here today. Let me share this other page so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But I am going to have to show you guys, let's see, a different screen to do this. 1 second here, folks. Let's see. All right. So, prop trading, okay? And the truth about it, I'm going to go through a lot of it here. There's a ton of opportunity in the world. There's always going to be more of them. If you have any questions about anything that you see here, feel free to send me an email. That goes straight to me. It's wbridges@tradehousefunds.com. And I'm lucky enough to be the head of community for this awesome prop trading firm. I don't think I've ever worked with a company that has the average level of experience in fintech and trading ever. And really fortunate. So here's a little bit about me. I am an economics graduate from University of Florida. I don't use economics to trade. I use it to find trades. And that's really the difference. That picture of me is a couple of years old. So my hairline is a shade further up and I've got a little more thickness there. If you guys can tell, I'll be on camera again soon and you can gawk if you want to. But I've got 10 years in trading education and technology, and that's part of the reason why I've got more gray hair. But I have learned a lot about risk and how to manage it in that time. And a lot of it's been from the people that I've worked with, the great traders and the awful traders. I've learned a lot from both of them. And I'm a passionate student of trading. I love looking at markets. It's one of my favorite things to do. I spend most of my day looking at markets all day, every day. And I share that information with people that work with us because, well, that's how I get paid. I literally just share information about things that I think are going to affect markets. And that might be, any number of things. An announcement from a central bank. It could be, that China just decided to lower their bank's reserve ratios. So they're stimulating again, which might be a reason why the Japanese indices are moving up. So, there's a lot of things that, I love to read the news, and that's what I spend all day doing. Fundamentals to find volatility, price action to find opportunity. And I do weekly live trading sessions with clients at no cost. So if that's something that you're into, then by all means, give it a test. Everything in here will be for educational purposes only. So no such thing as a guaranteed trade or investment. You got to risk it to get the biscuit, people. So I like to trade with a stop loss. I suggest you have known levels of risk in your life also. And we're looking for more successful traders. Okay, so we are at our best when our traders are at their best. We like people that take low risk versus the size of their account because, well, we're looking for people to trade with our capital. So if you were doing the same thing, you would want people that have good risk tolerance. And well, when I say risk tolerance, I should probably say money management skills, risk management skills. And that really just comes down to trading small, okay? And having enough discipline to continue to trade small and be patient. Because at the end of the day, if anybody in this room, let's just say if you had a $250,000 trading account and you cleared, 2% a month in that account, you're talking about making something like $6,000 a month. Okay. And the reality is that you don't really have to pay that much money to even trade with that to begin with. You're talking about $2,000, $3,000 to trade with that to begin with. The return on investment can be much, much faster. We are looking for people that are okay trading small in a huge account. And I think that should be intuitive. But you're about to discover what it takes to be a successful prop trader and why you want to work with us here at Trade House Funds. And the reality is there's a lot of them out there. Key ideas here, okay, with prop trading in general, you can make profit in both directions. So if you're a bull or a bear, if you think the economy is about to explode, up or down, doesn't matter, okay? If you think that we're going to have this blow off top to, 6,000 on the S&P 500, you can take that trade. Okay, you can also take the trade to 4,200 if you think it's going there. And that's an advantage, okay? So you don't have to be stuck in the long position. If you feel stuck, you can also go short. So it doesn't matter. You can create opportunity in any environment. And that's what I love about it. Okay. And the cool thing is you can trade Forex, oil, gold, indices, cotton, copper, whatever you want to trade. Okay. And really that's the cool part about it. If I want to trade, the FTSE or the Nikkei, I can do that. Because if I think that, the Japanese are bluffing and they're not going to raise rates, the Nikkei is going to blow off top, and it did. We called that weeks ago. So I got to trade it all in one account. Okay, so there's no pattern day trader rules. You don't have to, have a maximum of, 5 round trips in whatever period of time. That stuff doesn't exist. Okay, you can open, close as many trades as you want. You can trade all day, every day. The market closes on the weekend, which is a godsend for my family. But, I love trading and I like doing it when I want to. So, if you want to trade only in the morning until 10 o'clock or 11, then you can do it. If you want to trade in the middle of the night, you can do it. If you want to trade in the evening, you can do it. Okay. And that's the cool part about it. If you want to do all those, you can do that, but I don't recommend it. Okay. So you can be in a trade also for a few seconds, a few minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, doesn't matter. Okay. That's up to you. Personally, I like to do all of those things. So if you have questions, send us an email. Okay. You can get my attention in the chat box. And there is a little bit of a delay there, so bear with me. But send an email. This is a group email. social@tradehousefunds.com is another one. We also have a phone number. You can pick up and call us if you want to do that. We exist. We are in America, and we have a local phone number. So I know that seems like a feat, but that's not something that's common in this particular industry. So what is prop trading? Those of you that are new to this thing, you don't even know what I'm talking about. Okay, traders that pass an audition, also called a challenge, are given access to trade large capital of a financial firm, in this case, us. Okay, so we are looking for people that can pass an audition, also called this challenge, to trade with us. Okay, and here's some examples. You know, how much money can traders earn? And this is the fun part that everybody should care the most about. And I'm talking about 3% here. I'm not talking about some kind of massive, 25% per month type of thing. Okay, so potential income on something like 250,000, 6,750 here. Okay, how many people would be happy with a $6,750 return on an account that you might have spent, well, you spent probably less than $3,000 to open to begin with. Okay, so the return on investment potential is incredibly higher with more capital. That's just how the world works. Okay, and you can keep up to 90% of the profits. That's the cool part about working with us. The default, just to give you guys an idea, I'm going to go through all this stuff. The default is 75. Okay, so 75% is still incredibly high. However, you can upgrade and do 90%. I'm going to tell you all of the things that you may not know or understand and what that means. Okay, so why trade with us? And I think I've mentioned this a couple of different times. It's to limit your trading risk. If you want to trade a big account and make executive style returns with, with really realistic movement in the market, then you need a big account and you want to limit your risk. So, well, why not spend a couple $1,000s to take the challenge? Okay, so really all we're asking you to do is follow the rules that really you should probably be following with a large amount of your own money. And we'll talk more about that as we go on here. I'm going to show all the rules, how they work, what the nuances are, all that stuff. Because if you don't understand them, then you're probably not going to beat very many prop challenges. I just want to go ahead and tell you that. But you can trade with up to 250K with us. You can also keep up to 90%. The rules are going to be very clear. I'm going to make that very clear in here right now today. So let's keep on rolling. What are the rules? What do you have to do to get paid? And like I said, you can trade in both directions. Traders may enter as a buyer or seller on any instrument on the platform. FX, indices, commodities, and cryptos are also available. So if you want to trade this big dump that's happening on Bitcoin since they decided to launch the ETF, which I think is very interesting. Cathie Wood's talking about 1.5 million. I think it's probably, let's just say it's moving closer to 30,000 right now, which is interesting to watch. It depends on what side of the fence you're on with Bitcoin. I love to trade it. You might want to sit on it forever. I like trading it because it moves fast. And I think it's an interesting opportunity, but you can trade all that stuff in one place. And leverage, for those of you that are new to this game, okay, you can get up to 20 to 1 with us. The default is 10%. Okay, so our default is really, 10 to 1. So a $10,000 position with 20 to 1 can be held with $500. Okay, and if you're trading say a $100,000 account with us, you can open a lot of those trades. So either way, 10 or 20, you can upgrade to 20. Most people just do the bundle, if we're being real. And, the reality is I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a discount here at the end of this anyways. And most people do the bundle. And I'll explain to you guys why as we go along here. But reality is I don't think the leverage is more important than most things. I think 10 to 1 is plenty. I think there's other reasons why I would want to upgrade. But we'll talk more about that when we get there. I don't want to confuse anybody. But if anybody does have a question, sorry, I had to jump back and forth there for a second, make sure I didn't miss a slide. But those of you that are new, okay, so things are going to be traded in lots, and that's how this works. So and a lot is essentially a $100,000 amount of something. Okay, so if that's silver or gold or whatever, then that's one thing. But, a micro lot, 0.01, 10 cents a pip. If you're trading Forex is typically what that's going to work out to. If you've never traded in any of the other, indices or commodities, any of that stuff, then I suggest testing that out at the minimum lot size just to see how that works. And that would be a micro lot, that 0.01. And all the trading happens in MetaTrader 4. Those of you that aren't familiar with that, I'm going to have a video coming out on how MetaTrader 4 works in a few days. There's an older one that you could watch on the channel right now that's from my 1, 2, 3 trade days. But time requirements here, okay, you have up to unlimited time. The default is 60 days. And the reason why the default is 60 days is because we don't want people sitting on our capital not doing anything with it. You can't upgrade to unlimited time, which, is honestly what I like to do. I don't like to have any kind of pressure. And it's really not expensive to do that, in my perspective, at least. Not for what you get. For the tens of thousands of dollars that you get to trade with, I think it's a no-brainer. That's just my opinion. Maximum risk requirements. Okay, this is really what people need to understand the most. And how much of this money in this account can I, how much do I have to maintain? How much can I draw back? If I go down, am I out? Do I lose? The answer is, how far did you go? If you go more than 6% of total account equity, and this moves as your account grows. So if your account grows to 110,000, for example, then your equity is going to grow. It's 6% of your account equity. So it's not the amount that the account started with, but the other thing is that once you get over, let's just say you're up 8%. Okay. So if you're up 8% in the account or 9%, then, the total max drawdown is actually more than 6%. It actually moves. It pins to the account size. So if I have, let's just say 27,000 in my $25,000 account, then I can actually lose more than 6%. I just can't do it all in one day. And that's the other thing that people need to understand. And this is a rule actually I didn't understand fully until I actually broke it. And I managed to blow out an account while I was up in it, which I didn't even know was possible. I was still up like $1,000 or so. I want to say $900. And I managed to break one with this daily drawdown. And it was just because I was running a drawdown. I just wasn't closing the losses because I was waiting for them to turn. And then I was just peeling off portions of wins. And that was really just how I position trade. And I more or less scalped the positions if I had to explain my strategy in as few words as possible. But in any one day, you should not be losing more than 5% of your account. And this is the amount of money that looks like, depending on which account size that you trade. So looking at this, for those of you that are out there listening, watching right now, does this seem like an unreasonable amount of someone else's money to lose in one day to lose access? If you lost $12,000 if someone else lost $12,000 of your money, would you take away the game? Would you turn off the TV? What would you do? So, I think that these rules are very fair. And this is something that I didn't really latch onto until I latched onto the fact that I've traded too big for most of my trading career. And when I say too big, I mean versus the size of my account. And I was just over risking. And I became immediately, in my opinion, more consistent, better, less stressed out as soon as I started trading smaller. It's another reason why this helped me. Maximum exposure is another thing that's designed to keep you from losing your mind and to keep the people that, whose money you're trading from losing their mind. And that's kind of goes hand in hand. We keep each other responsible together. And you can't open more than 0.1% of the account size in lots. Okay, so what that means is with a $25,000 account, I can't open more than $250,000 worth of positions, 2.5 lots. Okay, that's a heck of a lot. That's 10-to-1 maximum. That's huge. Okay, so you really shouldn't be trading that big. If you are, then maybe trade with a bigger account and give yourself a little bit more room so that you can have more risk tolerance in the account. Because if you're addicted to trading too big, sometimes it's hard to reel yourself in. If you want to make the type of money you can make trading $250,000, then you need the account. That's really what it is. A good trader is someone that's boring to watch, that gets 3% per month. Those are the best traders on earth. And if you aren't one of them, then you're not one of the best on earth. Okay. So what's the biggest month any of you guys have ever had? I've doubled an account in a day. I've also blown one out in a day. What's the biggest win you guys have ever had? Let's put some stuff in perspective. Type in the chat for me. Let me find out here. What's the biggest win you guys have ever had? Because, I want to really put some things in perspective. I think my biggest day is probably something like, I made like $10,000 one day. It's like the happiest day of my life. I was probably 29, 30 when that happened. The thing is that like I've never traded big enough to do something like that with my own money. Okay. And I'm much happier making $500 a day every day than 10,000 once a year. Okay. So there's something that to be said about consistency and the ability to make money. Gaining 10% to pass, if you can do this in 60 days, you're talking about, well, we'll just make this, the numbers are slightly off, but we'll say 5% of that per month. Half half this month, half next month. That's a heck of a month. And the reality is, if you're trading something like, I don't know, $250,000, that's $12,500 a month. So even if you do it in 3 months, that's an okay amount of money for most of the traders that exist. And that's why prop is out there. Payouts can happen every 2 weeks. You got to give them basically you got to give us your information so that we know who you are, and we can give you all of your details so that you can make withdrawals and get paid. And that's kind of the whole point. So you can withdraw every couple of weeks, just like anywhere else. And the cool part is you can kind of take as much as you want or leave it in the account. You got to have more than $100, I think, is the minimum, but you can keep up to 90% of the profits. Okay. So if you make 2,000 in the account, 1,800 of it is yours. Okay. We keep 2. I think a very fair trade. And that's what the 90% numbers are. 75%, you're talking about, if you make 2,000, we keep 500, you get 15. Okay. So there's a ton of room for you to make a heck of a lot of money at 75% profit share. I think that's probably something that, $750 is a pretty solid day. Most people wouldn't be upset at that. So, I mean, I totally appreciate that. But reality is you can make that kind of money with much more easily. And when I say easily, with less movement in the market, that's what I mean when I say easily. There's nothing easy about trading. Obviously, it's going to be a grind. You're going to lose trades. And anybody that tries to prime you with telling you that you're not going to lose trades is full of it. Okay. They haven't traded before. Okay. And not long enough. You will lose trades. And, you really don't have to even win more than you lose if you want to make money. You just have to have good risk management. Okay. So we're going to do weekly analysis. I'm going to put out trading ideas. I have 5 different ways from Sunday that we share stuff. If you go to our website and join the newsletter, then that's a good place. I'm going to send stuff out every week. Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to do live or recorded updates. I'm going to do both. I like trading live when non-farm payroll happens, and we have GDP announcements that happen today. And let's just say there's a lot of fun stuff that we could trade and find movement on specific things, and I like to do that. And that's really what I'm into. That's the reason why they hired me here. Okay. The cool thing is that if you're trading one of these accounts, you have a whole back office. We're rebuilding the whole back office, so this will be prettier, I think, very soon. But there's lines on there for you to know where you are versus the green line where you can rip the tape on life and win the challenge and, go out and get your certificate, tell everybody how amazing you are. And we move you to live after you do that. And it looks, the same. And you can get more challenges here if you happen to lose and do something that, you might think is boneheaded yourself after you get done. And, that's usually what people say to me. After they lose one of these, they're like, oh man, I made a mistake. I'm like, yeah, you did. Cool thing is you did it with somebody else's money and you didn't have to risk all of your own. And that is the best part about trading prop. I think some people, don't really latch on too easily. They think it's some kind of a carnival trick. And the reality is the money is real. It's there. The accounts exist. The money gets made. But the reality is most people just don't have the patience. And you got to keep things in perspective. What am I aiming for? How much money do I need to make? And, MT4, MT5, MT5, I think nobody uses, even though, not nobody. I would say I actually have an MT5 account with TradeHouse funds. So I take that back. But I would say the majority of traders on Earth are using MetaTrader 4 because they want to use some kind of an EA or a robot or whatever, or they have another tool. Most of the trading tools on Earth are built for MetaTrader 4. Okay. So we have both of these platforms. You can use a robot. You cannot copy trade from one account to another. That's where the hang up might be. So if anybody has any questions about robots or any of that kind of stuff, then, send me a message, wbridges@tradehousefunds.com or social@tradehousefunds.com. And I'll answer whatever question you've got about whatever robot it is you want to run. But that stuff is allowed. You can do that. So if you have an automated strategy, you can do that. How much money can successful prop traders make? Some of you just showed up. Some of you have been here the whole time. Maybe you need a reminder. But 3% of a $25,000 account at a 90% profit share is $675 a month. Okay, so not a life-changing amount of money for a lot of people, but for some people that is. And that account's like, $250 for the base account. If you want to do the upgrade to 90%, I want to say it's like $275. So this is not something that you can't make your money back, in my opinion, very quickly. And if you want to trade a larger account, in my opinion, gives you more leeway. So if you're going to trade the same sizes that are small, I guess, then let's just say you're less likely to blow out moving up account sizes than moving down, at least in my experience. But, $67.50 a month for an account that's, less than $3,000 is pretty amazing. So that's really what the benefit of prop trading is. And if you go to our website right now, you can look at these. The prices are all there, tradehousefunds.com. And it's really incredible. I never thought this kind of thing. I always wanted to be a professional trader. And, I never really knew what that was going to look like when I was a kid. I want to be a stockbroker, Dad. He was like, what the hell does that mean? You're not moving to Wall Street. New York, I would never want to move to New York. No hate, nothing but love for everybody and where you're from. But I'm a Florida guy. If you're ready to get your account started, if you go to tradehousefunds.com, I'm going to show you guys a little bit about, what it takes to get the account together. But if you go to the website, you click on start trading, okay, either this blue button or the green one that's there. Could be a different color now. I don't know. I'm not the marketing guy. But you pick your desired account size. You click on one of those. Those are the rules that I just went through with you on the left. Those are there. Those are real. But you pick your size. And once you pick your size, most popular, I would say, is probably, 100K. You got to go through the checkout process. That stuff's pretty quick. Obviously, you can do this with a credit card. You don't have to do this. That's the other thing. You don't necessarily have to deposit cash, which is something you can't do with a trading account, at least not in USA. But the cool thing is, you can really get up to, a six-figure account this way. And we want more successful traders. We want to get more people getting paid because we want to get paid when you get paid. And that's not going to be the case with every trader. If somebody YOLOs and they beat their challenge, we're not going to be looking to have this person on forever. When I say YOLO, I mean, if you trade the maximum size on one position and win in 30 minutes, and you obviously did something that was all of your money on black type of thing, we're not looking at you like the next, the next Warren Buffett, but if you are looking for a coupon code, you can use this in the checkout. The bundle is what most people pick in the checkout, but this is 20% off. If you guys want to use this 20% off, it is Jumpstart is the code. And I'm going to leave this up for a second so you guys can write this down or use it real quick if you want to do that. But I want to do I want to give you guys an idea, what some charting analysis stuff that we share might look like. So you don't have to go stalk us in other videos and find out. I did a lot of analysis in this past weeks. It's been an ugly month, I think, for trading. I don't think anybody expected risk markets to be this hot with, China threatening to take Taiwan a little bit more closely than they ever have. As far as I can see, we've got ramp up in the Red Sea, Iran getting more involved. It just doesn't seem like a situation where gold should be falling, but it is. But let's go ahead and get over to a chart. Actually, let's talk about that. Let me get out of here. Hold on. Let me get over to let me close some stuff out here. Let's make this full screen and get back over to charting analysis. So where's that? Actually, let's get to the economic calendar real quick. I think we just had GDP numbers, advanced GDP come out, and that came out hot. Whoa, called that one. Yeah, love to see it. And that's what, the biggest deficit spending in a quarter in history can get you, 3.3%. Way stronger than anticipated. So that is the dollar ripping. And I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna show this to you guys. But yeah, there it is. Okay, there it is. Advanced GDP numbers came in real hot, even though unemployment was up. So that's weird that happens at the same time. But regardless, that is hot news for the U.S. dollar. Let's take a look. Look at oil making its move. I'm going to go ahead and delete some stuff here. Let me get the whole screen on here. There you go. Now you guys can see all that. We'll get rid of this widget window that I've got here. But let's go to the all month time frame real quick. And I'm just going to go through one quick analysis here on oil. And oil's been fun to watch, I think, for a lot of reasons for its entire existence. Obviously, we've got this 2030 agenda, the Paris Climate Accord, and all this stuff that's, oil's not going to be a part of the economy in such and such number of years. I don't see that happening. Okay. We've been on an uptrend since, well, really this -17 that you can't see on the chart from the pandemic in 2020. So since then we've been up and we're making higher and higher lows, as you guys can see here. So if I come down to the lower time frame, let's work our way in. Right now we've got a counter trend that happened for quite some time. This one, Okay. And that still hasn't been met. So we're still under that line. And a lot of people are looking at this inner trend line, and that's the one that you're playing. Good for you. We're still kind of on a downstroke. So since it's unclear, we're getting higher highs and higher lows, mostly sideways activity. I'm going to play this as a sideways trend, and I'm going to keep zooming in to confirm where I think this might go for the, short term, I guess, because I don't expect this to break out forever. But the reality is this is my more recent counter trend, and we are broken. So I'm looking for a place where I want to dump, and that's probably going to be up here somewhere. And I'm going to keep on loading and loading until I get there. And that's really what I'm looking for on oil. That's up above 80. I think that's $80, $81, I think is probably where I'm going to start cutting bait and getting out of town. And start looking for maybe some lower prices for the time being. But oil could go much higher. It's going to be hard for it to go much higher. I think as long as the dollar is as strong as it is. But it's been a lot of fun doing this here today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If anybody does have more questions, I do want to make sure that you guys know we have all sorts of opportunity to follow more trades. My foxhound is losing his mind right now, which is one of the joys of working at the house. But we've got lots of ways to follow, get more trade ideas. We've got a Discord that you can get ideas in. I blast that from Twitter news all day, every day, I think, for the most part. And more stuff will be out on YouTube. If you haven't already gotten an account with us, if you're looking to prop trade, then I think we're a good destination for it. I think there's more trading talent at this company than any place I've ever worked. And I'm really proud to be able to say something like that. I've worked for some pretty big trading companies, to say the least. And really, I've seen a lot of different stuff out there. Prop trading is a big fun thing for me. So I appreciate you guys coming. I guess I can stay and maybe answer a couple of questions. I've had 2 out of 2 prop accounts blow up. Both of them didn't have the guidance required for me to be informed of what to not to do as markets move, change, surprise. I'm sorry to hear that. Let's just say trade small, my friend. I think that's the number one thing. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to show, really just to put people in the right mindset. Jeff Watkins is the operations director at Trade House Funds also, and he's got 17 years in the industry. And Jeff's a very good trader. I think he just beat his challenge yesterday, the day before. Which I was mad about. I think if you watch any of our videos, you'll know Jeff and I were racing, which was probably not the best way to go about it from a mental standpoint. I got all the way to like 9.5%. And then I hit the daily loss limit, which was very upsetting for me. So I learned about that rule. I didn't even know how that worked. And I did it just carrying a negative equity number. I was still in the positive. I made money in that account. So if you were live and that happened, then you'd still get to cash out. But Jeff did beat me. So, knowing the rules is the first step in being able to beat the game. And I'm glad to share that. If you guys didn't see something in here today that you want to see, then send me an email, wbridges I'll put this in here. Hold on. wbridges@tradehousefunds.com, and that will come directly to me. Okay. So yeah, if you've got other questions about stuff, then let me know. But yeah, I mean, I got to keep it real with people. I've blown out one of these before. It's not something that I didn't know how it worked. I just knew that what I've done in my account's been, pretty acceptable for me for a long time. And other people might be happy with the types of results I've gotten over the years. But, the reality is I wasn't ready to be as conservative as this asked me. I mean, I like to think I'm a young guy. My hairline's not what it was in that other picture I showed earlier in this session, but I'm aggressive. I can afford to take risk at this part of my life. I'm only, 35. My birthday's next month. I'm having a child this year though. So I'm starting to get a little bit more, I got to reel it in as far as my risk goes. I'm trying to be a little bit more steady Eddie, I guess is the way to put it. And if I can help some other people do that in the process, doing this live stuff really kind of holds my feet to the fire. But I think we're out of questions. If you guys have more, then by all means, send me a message. I look forward to seeing you guys soon in, the Discord channel or on Twitter or any of the other places. Go to our website. If you go to the bottom, newsletter, all of our social media stuff is there. But thanks for staying the whole time. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy trading and be good or be good at it, folks. Take care. I got to end the stream.